What's up, people? Orsicourse here, coming at you with another Paragon deck build. Today we're going to look at my boy Steel. So I know that Steel's been out of the meta for a little bit. Once they nerfed his ultimate and all that, he kind of fell off. But I think Steel is making a comeback because he did get somewhat of a rework. So we're going to go ahead and look into him real quick. So for Steel, I start out with the Centurion. Now, I build Steel very tanky. I know some people like to go bruiser tank, but I still think full tanky with Steel is pretty good. So I go with the Centurion for the extra health because I think that'll just make him, just that much harder to take down. Now, as we get down here into the consumables, I filled it out. I got health potion, mana potion, Mender's Vow, Scout's Ward, Shepherd's Vow, and then healer token. Now, before I even equipped any of the consumables, the first card that I grab is this Brawler's Ward. This is what I call my dummy ward. I make sure I place this either right there by the right lane or going towards the enemy jungle. You can even place it by the river camps if you like, but I usually put it close enough to where I can see if the right lane is going to get ganked. So I recommend starting out with your Brawler's Ward and then going back and then getting your consumables. Now, if for whatever reason you are not running with a carry, I would say go with the health potion and the mana potion. But if you're running with a carry like you should be, go with the Mender's Vow and the Shepherd's Vow. The reason is because these cards will also heal and give your carry mana back. So they're good to have for you because you can heal yourself and you can also heal your carry. I keep the Scout's Ward in there just in case you want that extra vision on top of your dummy ward. That way you can ward out more of the jungle, more of the river area. So you have a little variety there. Healer token, if you just want a little extra sustain, you can go with that. Get that 2.8 health regen. Now as we get down here to the deck proper, you have one throwaway card, and we'll talk about this here in a second. But the first card that I build is going to be a Circlet of Health. So this card right here gives you 30 mana, and more importantly, the unique passive. Health Regen Aura grants 2.8 health regen to yourself and nearby allies. Now, even better, they changed this card to now it's global. So once you fully upgrade it, you can give the 2.8 health regen to yourself and all allies. So just make sure that somebody else isn't running it as well because they don't stack. So, but if you run this, you'll give all your allies 2.8 health regen, which is good. That little bit of extra sustain will help you and your carry, and especially your offlaner. That little bit of extra health will keep them in the fight. So keep that in mind. Now, the Elder Mage Amulet, you can build this if you want. It's not necessary, but I built this card just for a little extra sustain, and if you just need a placeholder, like before you can get your Clensing Scales or something, you might want to equip this card. So this card gives you 6 power, 60 health, and then 120 health once you fully upgrade it. I equipped this card with 3 lesser healths, so that's 60 health apiece. So that gives you a nice bit of health, and it will let you take many shots there, especially early game. So this just makes Steel a little tankier, a little harder to deal with. So that's why I like to build that card. Now as we get down here to the deck proper, we'll start out with the Guardian's Ward. You want to make sure that you keep vision so that you and your carry do not get pounced on by like the enemy Chimera or something like that. So I keep the Guardian's Ward in here. You can build this early on if you want to. If you're warded up pretty well or you feel like your Scout Ward is enough, maybe you'll hold off on this. But what I usually do once I have 2 points, I'll discard my Scout's Ward and then I'll get the 3 points and I'll grab the Guardian's Ward and just not upgrade it. So that is an option for you if you just want to make sure you have the vision. Now this card gives you 6 power, 60 health, and then another 60 health once you upgrade it. And I equipped it with 3 health cards, which is 120 health apiece. So this right here will make you very hard to deal with as far as getting through you. So this makes you very tanky. Early game, I think health is more valuable than armor by far. So having that extra health will help you out. Now, as we get down here, this is the card that I built early on here. It's called the Quenching Scales. Now the Quenching Scales, this card gives you 60 health, 0.3 mana regen, and then it gives you the Mana Aura, which is 0.6 mana regen to yourself and nearby allies, which is not a huge deal, but it does help a little bit. Now the more important part is once you fully upgrade it, you get the Team Heal. Now this heals yourself and nearby allies for 225 health and grants 24 basic armor for 20 seconds. Allies can use or benefit from team heal once every 20 seconds. So make sure, keep in mind that it costs 75 mana to use and it has an 80-second cooldown. So make sure you use it wisely. And yeah, so this is a pretty good card. This will, especially early game, that 225 health is actually a lot of health. So that will help your carry stay in the fight or your team in general. So keep that in mind. I know some people say, well, if you don't build steel with any attack, then he's not really going to be an issue. People aren't going to focus him. But here's the thing. If you have Clenching Scales, you have his ultimate, you have his bulldoze, you have his Honor of the Pure, you have all these things that he can use. If they don't acknowledge you, you are going to wreak havoc on their team in a different way. Maybe you're not going to be doing the most damage, but you're going to keep them knocked up. You're going to keep them CC'd. You're going to be healing your team. You're going to be shielding your team. So they're going to have to deal with you. So even though you're not building Bruiser, you still are a threat for the team, just in a different way. So keep that in mind if this build looks a little different than what you're used to. Now, the next card that I build is the Honor of the Pure. So this is a 9-point card, and this card gives you 60 health, 30 mana, and it gives you a team shield. So consume 100 mana to shield yourself and nearby allies for 3 seconds, absorbing up to 125 plus 25 times players' levels. So any ally affected by Team Shield cannot activate or benefit from a Team Shield for another 15 seconds. So this card is great because that shield really comes in handy, especially if you're trying to keep them from getting executed by Moragesh's ult, or trying to absorb some of that damage from Revenant's abilities, or anybody for that matter. Having that shield is just extra health for your team, which might make the difference between surviving and getting a team wipe. So I always keep the shield, I always keep the Clenching Scales, because they are just, you can't get rid of these. These are must-haves right now. Now, the next cards that I build are going to be the Tempered Plates. And I have 2 Tempered Plates in this deck, and I build them with all greater health, actually. Now, the reason that I go with 2 Tempered Plates is because Steel's passive now gives him ability armor, and a Divine Shield that I have on there also has some lesser barriers, and it has the ability to absorb one spell. So Steel's passive allows him to build energy armor every 6 seconds. He gets a stack of 50. So you could still build the Tomb Barrier, but I feel like it's not as necessary now. So I go with the 2 Tempered Plates, and that gives you 8 basic armor, 60 mana, or 60 health, and then 16 basic armor once you upgrade it. So between the 2 of them, you'll have 48 basic armor, and you'll have a ton of health. So if you want, you can replace one of the greater healths with a greater guard if you want to. But I'm pretty satisfied with the armor that I have with these 2. They seem to be doing me pretty well, and the extra health seems to be a little more viable. But you could build a little more armor if you want to. Now, the last card in here is going to be the Divine Shield. So this card gives you 60 mana, 6 ability armor, and the unique passive Spell Block. So block the next enemy spell. So 45-second cooldown. And then I have it equipped with 3 minor barriers, which give you 6 ability armor apiece. So that right there will give you 24 ability armor, which is pretty good. Nothing crazy, but on top of your passive, you'll be good on ability armor. So this is the build that I have for Steel so far. Very utility based. You're definitely going to be in a fight. You're going to be able to take a lot of shots. You're not going to be a huge damage dealer, so keep that in mind. But that's okay, because they're still going to have to deal with you, because in a fight you are going to bring a lot to the team, especially if you manage to get full build. But even if you just get to the point, because your support may not always get full build, but if you get to the point where you have Clenching Scales, Honor of the Pure, you make sure you have your ward, and maybe you get one of the Tempered Plates in, you're still going to be a huge threat to the team. Now, if you can get full build, that's just icing on the cake. But once you have your actives, you're going to be a beast. You're going to be just a pain to deal with. So keep that in mind. So people, that's all I got for the Steel build. Let me know who's your favorite support right now. I know a lot of people are playing Steel in the off lane right now, which, you know, I'm iffy about. I don't think he performs as well in off lane as people think. but some people still like to play them back there, and that's completely fine. But tell me, who's your favorite support right now? I think mine, of course, is my girl FaZe, because right now she's just killing it. And then Narbass is probably my second. But let me know who you are feeling right now. Also, if you like this video, make sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Make sure to share the video out. It helps me out a lot, just getting me exposure, and it might help somebody else. Maybe somebody will see the deck build and they'll use it. So, yeah. As always, people, this is Orsa Course. Thank you for viewing the video and hanging out with me. We will see you in the next video, or come join me in one of my live streams.